Good morning, everybody. I recorded this video a long time ago, and I've just been putting off putting a voiceover to it. So I don't remember as much of the piece as I would if I had just finished reading it. This is Restlessness by Felix Mendelssohn, and honestly, it surprised me in a good way. As I've said, I don't really read a lot of Mendelssohn's music. I think too much 151, 1451. It kind of bores me in some parts, and this one definitely did have that too. I was like, we get it. This is the tonic. This is the dominant. But some other parts in this music really impressed me. The figuration for the right hand and like what you could call the main theme was pretty cool. And then the fake out of the relative major, like you think you're going to A major, but then it was minor if I'm remembering correctly. And then the true major section was actually an F sharp major, so the parallel major. I thought that was nice. And some of the like motivic elements and stuff like that, I don't have specifics, it was a while ago, but it was a good piece. Probably one of my favorite that I've read of his sets so far. Today I just wanted to talk about tonality because I read an excerpt from, I think it's called The Book of Laughter and Forgetting, by the same guy who wrote, what's his name? Or what's the book? I can't remember right now, but his name is like Milan Kundra. He was a musician before he became a novelist, and he had a really great analogy for tonality in his book, The Book of Laughter and Forgetting, I'm pretty sure it's called. He said, and I might misremember some details, but he said tonality is like a chord where the tonic, the root of the scale, is like a king in the court. And the king has two like second in commands, the fourth degree and the fifth degree, the dominant and the subdominant. And then the other, what's that, four notes in the scale, they're all here, but they're all subordinate to the 1, 4, and 5 people, like the king and his two second-hand men. And then the other 5 notes, if you think about the chromatic scale, the other 5 notes are people from different kingdoms. So they can come in, they can influence the politics here, but if they come in, the king is still the king. That's where everyone else revolves around what the king does. And then if you modulate, it's just like you go to another king's court. Or you could even imagine, like if you modulate to the dominant, then one of the right-hand men, the fifth, takes control of the throne over the first person. And then he talked about atonality when Arnold Schoenberg decided that we don't need courts, we don't need classism, just all 12 people are equal. And I thought that was interesting. Before I say anything else, I should preface that I don't listen to atonal music as much as I should. I've only really listened to Schoenberg's intermezzo from his suite for piano. But I like the idea of atonality, even if I don't like it, but I don't like the idea of 12-tone serialism. I just don't understand why a system like that, so restricting, adds anything to art, to music as an art form. Even if you consider like the rules of counterpoint, they kind of make sense. You can disagree with parallel octaves sound bad, like you can disagree with two consecutive leaps that form a dissonant interval sound bad. You can disagree with all that stuff, but they do kind of make sense. They are kind of grounded in reality. But 12-tone serialism, I just really don't understand. The only thing I can think of is that he said, I've liberated the dissonance, and now all 12 notes are equal, and so all 12 notes have to be played before any one of them can be repeated, and so that is what 12-tone serialism achieves. But I don't see why it's necessary to go so far in that direction. You can definitely create a sense of no tonic atonalism without serialism. It just doesn't make sense to me. But yeah. And then in my other video, I was talking about modulating to like nearby keys, like the dominant, and it still confuses me because I was reading a book on form for pieces, and like an integral part of the form is the key. It's like if you have an exposition of a sonata, the secondary theme group, if it's a major, has to be in the dominant. And I just don't understand that. It kind of makes sense from an artistic standpoint if you want to take the broad look, and then you're like, this is 1-5-1. So not only do I have good chord progressions on the microscopic level, but on the macroscopic level, it makes sense harmonically. But I feel like that idea is restrictive, too restrictive. I feel like the art should be free to go wherever it goes. And even the idea of ending in the key you started in is so odd. Like it kind of makes sense, like I said, from an artistic standpoint. It's like a circle, but the music shouldn't feel like it needs, the composer shouldn't feel like they need to write something in so that it ends in the same key. I feel like it would be better for art if the composer felt like they just wrote what was best. And if part of that is you taking like you're writing a masterpiece and you do look at the macroscopic level of where am I ending the piece, where am I starting it, then it makes sense. But you could also say, I'm starting the piece on the tonic and I want to end in the submedian because this is like major to the relative minor. That's how I want the whole piece to feel. That's kind of the journey we're going on. And Chopin's Ballad No. 2 comes to mind because it starts in F major, ends in A minor, which is really strange. But things like that confuse me. Yeah, I guess that's all I got. Maybe next time I'll talk about sonata form. because I've been reading up on that. Okay, well, I hope everyone has a good night, and you can just enjoy my sight reading for the rest of this video.